Thank you to Conflict of Nations for sponsoring today's video. All right, first, before we even begin, I want to say congratulations to the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. You built a hell of a team and a coaching staff and a plan to get us into the playoffs and win some playoff games for the first time in like 30 years. Detroit and the entire state of Michigan is beside themselves, happy and supporting of you. So, man, can't wait for you to do it again next year. We're all rooting for you. Okay, now to the video. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Great game last night, even though the Lions didn't win. Okay, this is the Taiwan Strait. You guys recognize this? This little body of water, very strategic and important. So much so that the United States has multiple intelligence sharing and security pacts with the nations in the Indo-Pacific region about this. But in 2022, a congressional visit to the island of multiple congressmen and women triggered one of the largest naval exercises that century around Taiwan from the Chinese Navy. It was so large and lasted so long in August of 2022 that it actually disrupted commercial traffic. Yeah, like that is almost unheard of. But they also cut deconfliction communications with the United States as a result of that visit, which could lead to a conflict of nations, which is also a video game you can play for free. This is an online PvP strategy game you can lead a real country like the USSR or China or the United States in modern global warfare. Fight up to 128 other players in real-time games that can take weeks to play, and I love that. This is a long-term game, man. You can use many different units to build up your army, tanks, jets, nuclear submarines. Declare war on your neighbors or forge alliances, which is the way I play it. Choose your own strategy, though, and engage in epic battles to take over the world. You can play the same account on PC and mobile, so you can do it at work, do it at home, and have the same fight the whole time. Try Conflict of Nations for free. Build a strong military, choose your strategy, engage in epic PvP battles to take over the world. Click the link in my description to get 13,000 gold. 1 month free premium subscription, and the offer is only available for 30 days, so take advantage of it now. Click that link. All right, so here we have a monumentous event. We have the Secretary of State, Blinken, with his staff, meeting with People's Republic of China, CCP International Liaison Department. That's a hell of a title right there, folks. Minister Liu Shanchao. He is at the State Department with his staff, meeting with our State Department staff, having routine, reestablished diplomatic talks that have been reestablished now for months, I think maybe even over a year now, since that 2022 visit. But the significant outcome of this meeting that happened this month, January 2024, was the result of this. This is an announcement from the Department of Defense via the Pentagon saying that the United States and the PRC defense, or China's defense minister, are going to start coordination talks again. The ones that they had severed after that congressional visit a few years ago for deconfliction are going to resume. And this is really good news for everybody because whenever we're not talking, then we're guessing. And we don't want to be guessing about people's ambitions or intentions when things are happening. So not since 2021 have we had these formal meetings, because we didn't have the formal meeting between defense ministers in 2022 at the time that China canceled them. So it's been many years since we had these formal talks. But in January 2024, on the 17th, the U.S. Secretary of Defense for China, Taiwan, and Mongolia met with China's Deputy Director for Central Military Commission Office at the Pentagon. Now, these two guys are the deputy directors for the bigwigs that will have a meeting later on. But some of the things that they talked about were operational safety in and around the Indo-Pacific region, and the purpose for us being there, as far as the United States is concerned, is to keep the region as stable as possible, not destabilize it like the PRC has been saying we're doing. Our intention also was reiterated to China to use all international routes, which includes transiting the Taiwan Strait. That is an international body of water between those two land masses that any Navy can use for peaceful transit. And that's what we're going to continue to do, whether it's in the air or it's on the sea. And so now the Chinese response to these comments was not made public in this announcement, but these are just the things that the United States Deputy or Secretary of Defense for China, Taiwan, and Mongolia, the long-ass title, had brought up. And then the last thing, which is, I think, one of the most important things, very apt right now, is the Philippine fishermen. They have rights to fish in the shores on the western side of the Philippines in the South China Sea. They do have, economic exclusion to those fishing rights right there. And that the Chinese should stop shooting water cannons at these little canoe boats trying to topple over the fishermen. And, you could get someone hurt and it's unprofessional. Anyway, so all that is leading up to these two gentlemen here. This is Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, who I have been told is out of the hospital. He actually returned to work at the Pentagon. So congratulations to him. I was very wrong about the cancer diagnosis he had. I should make this correction now. I thought he had a different form of cancer that was not survivable. Turns out his is completely different and very survivable, high survival rate. So that's really good news. He's meeting with Ministry of National Defense Dong Jun. Now, there's no scheduled meeting now, but since the deputy defense ministers have met, that is the first step in this meeting being scheduled. So we're expecting these two to have a formal meeting sometime this year to continue those deconfliction talks. And, of course, there'll also be like a red phone hotline in case anything comes up. These two can always get in contact with each other for emerging discussions, emerging problems, things like that. Now, something I should mention about the Admiral Dong Jun here is that there's a lot of experts in this field that don't know about this man, and they're dismissing him. And I think that's a real mistake, because even though he is young, he is very good. He's an excellent submarine officer. And if you don't know about him, don't dismiss him. That's learn about him. Like, for instance, in 2008, he was the commanding officer of a submarine. I forget the type, but it was a Chinese submarine, and he was awarded the best submarine captain in the PLAN for that year. So he knows submarine warfare very well. He's now in charge of the entire national defense of China, and his expertise is in anti-submarine warfare. So if there is ever a naval conflict between anybody in China, this man is going to maximize the use of submarines, who already have an advantage in naval warfare just by their very nature. It's like playing an NFL player playing at a peewee football game in terms of conflict. It is not even close to being fair. And this man knows a lot about submarine warfare. So that's not to fear him. That's not to scaremonger you. It's just that he's very knowledgeable and he's in charge now. But luckily, we're having these conversations again. Probably. It's not scheduled yet. I want to reiterate that. What is scheduled is this meeting right here. Every year, IISS, or International Institute of Strategic Studies, has a meeting in Singapore between May and June. This one's May 31st to June 2nd this year. It's an annual summit where leaders, and whether they're military leaders or national leaders, get together and they just have a discussion like it's an economic forum. But because the military has a presence there, they talk about military investments and intentions and deals like that. It's a big meeting that happens, but the people who attend here are very important. For instance, last year, whenever the United States military and the Chinese military were not communicating with each other, guess who showed up? Well, this is the Ministry of National Defense from China last year, who has now disappeared, by the way. We don't know where he's at. This was the guy that got fired, essentially, and the young guy took over. But he did have an ad hoc meeting with the Secretary of Defense of the United States, despite China saying, do not do this. These two happened to be in the same dining hall at the same time, had a quick handshake, greeting. It was very cordial and friendly. And this goes a long way. And this burns reality through the rhetoric of the countries saying, well, we're just not going to talk to you. When in reality, when the people are in the same room, they're more than happy to talk to each other, which puts a human aspect on this. And that's really what we want to see, because whenever we humanize each other, that's going to decrease tensions, and conflict is much less likely. So meetings like this is what happens at places like this. And this is already scheduled for this year with this gentleman here. And then I'm sure they'll formally have a meeting, probably here in the United States, but it could be a neutral location as well for their first one, just to get that communication back going. So that's really, really good news. And one of the big things that they should talk about is our naval exercises with the Philippines. The United States has really ramped this up over the past 18 months or so. We're doing naval exercise with the Philippine Navy all the time. And one of the primary things that the Philippine Navy is trying to do is keep this outpost supplied on the Second Thomas Shoal, which is very near the coast of the Philippines. I think it's like 180 miles or something in that range, right off the coast. And this outpost, obviously it has no resources. There's no source of fresh water. There's no food other than maybe the fish they catch there. And they need fuel for their generators and lights and whatever. So it needs resupply all the time. And the Chinese are always trying to stop and harass these resupply missions with their Chinese Coast Guard, not their military. Even though the Chinese Coast Guard technically is part of their military now in terms of organization, it's not the Chinese Navy doing this, is my point. The Coast Guard's going out there with their cannons that they're using on the fishermen. They're turning it on these resupply vessels as well, just harassing them and trying to turn them away as they bring food and water to the handful of Marines that are sitting on this old LST, Sierra Madre, that they beached intentionally to turn it into an outpost. This thing is falling apart, but it's their physical boots on the ground claim to that little atoll right there. There was shoal. It's technically a shoal. All right. So, we're going to try and stop this. Just get the Chinese Coast Guard to calm down, because if you take a look at the whole region here, you can see Vietnam has a claim nearly as big as China does. And look at the claim of the Philippines. It's about half the size, but they all overlap. Vietnam is not doing this. China is. So we're just trying to get China to be more compliant, less belligerent with their Coast Guard against the fishermen. But the great news is that communication has started again. We haven't had this communication since technically 2021, even though it was severed in 2022. And it's a great step forward. Since September of 2023, we've seen a decrease in aggressive activity by the Chinese Air Force and their Navy trying to cut off our ships. The last incident that I remember that was significant and caught on video, two things that are important, was last August with one of our Navy ships. So let's hope that they continue that trend. And with this communication, deconfliction, and humanization of each other, I think we're going to see that. All right. No more Conflict of Nations unless you're playing it on your phone, folks. That's right. Thank you to Conflict of Nations for supporting this video. I want you to support this channel by clicking the link in the description and getting 13,000 gold, 1 month free premium subscription. This offer is only available for 30 days, so take advantage of it now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. And go Lions. Dan Campbell, we're proud of you. Keep it up. We'll see you next season.